Brother attacked me, so I'm pressing charges. The whole family is now torn and I don't know what to do. So for context, I 22 female, have a brother 24 male. For the sake of this post, I will call him Mike. Mike and I have never really gotten along growing up, and he had gone to prison for 5 years when I was 17 and just got out last year. It was probably the longest me and him ever went without arguing about something. On Sunday, my brother came over to my grandmother's house. I had been living here with my husband and children to help take care of my grandma since she's dealing with Alzheimer's, and I was in the kitchen making a pizza since I had just woken up. My husband woke up about an hour or so before I did and had already gone upstairs into the kitchen and spoke with my father and mother, information I didn't know until after everything had happened. While I was in the kitchen cutting the pizza, my brother called me from the living room. I told my son for Yo to go see what he wanted and to get me if it was important. My son went into the living room to ask my brother what he needed and came to tell me that he just needed to talk to me. I went into the living room and was met immediately with yelling and screaming. I had only been awake for 20 minutes by this point, so I was super confused, and I asked him what he was talking about because I had no knowledge about any previous conversations that had taken place in the house. He was yelling about my husband not helping my father out with yard work. My husband had injured his shoulder at work a couple days prior. I asked Mike what he was talking about because I didn't know anything, and he just got into my face and started screaming that I needed to get out of the house because all I was doing was taking advantage of our family. I left the living room and went into the family room where my 3 children, 4, 1, and 2 months were, and told my oldest to go downstairs into the basement. When I turned to get my 1-year-old daughter, my brother had followed me into the family room and was only inches away from my face and was screaming. I was put into a PTSD attack because of how he was acting. I had been diagnosed with PTSD 3 years prior due to an abusive relationship I was in. I pushed him to get him away from me so I could get my daughter and 2-month-old son to take them away from the screaming. As soon as I turned to start walking towards my baby, who had started crying due to the noise, he grabbed the back of my neck and started punching me until I fell down to my knees. I ran to get my husband and told him what was happening. My husband was outside on the phone with his father because we were supposed to go over to his house to pick up something we left over there. My brother followed me outside and started screaming again, and things kept escalating. He threatened to kill my husband, and when I heard that, I ran inside and grabbed my phone, which was on the table next to the playpen I had my baby laying in. I immediately called the police and took my other children downstairs. In the basement, we have a TV and a PS5, so my husband put on a Spider-Man game for my Yo to play while I talked to the police. After the police talked to everyone and got statements, my brother was arrested since he left a giant bruise on my neck where he had hit me. My dad thinks I should drop the charges because my brother was out of prison in good behavior and could be sent back for the rest of his sentence, which would be a 6-year term. I told my husband that I will not drop the charges against him since it wasn't the first time he's ever hit me, and I refuse to let him keep doing it. My entire family is really torn about the whole situation, and my uncle, who was there when it happened, bailed my brother out of jail. I am still messed up about it since it all happened so quickly and I didn't even know why my brother was upset in the first place. My dad has been acting really cold to me since I won't drop the charges, and I'm starting to feel like I may be going a bit too far by pressing charges. I don't know what to do. My dad has talked to me about me moving out of my grandmother's house since it happened, and I don't know what to do. Should I go ahead with pressing charges? Update. Thank all of you for the advice. I talked with my husband about everything and he agreed that we should get a protection order as well. To answer a few questions I saw in the comments, my grandmother owns her house, but her will is set up as a trust, so once she passes, the house will be sold and the money split evenly between her 3 kids, my dad, uncle, and aunt. I told my parents I was concerned about the condition of my grandmother because my uncle's health had been declining and he can no longer cook for her, which is why we moved in to help in the first place. Since I moved in, I had been the primary cook in the house, making sure my grandmother has healthy meals. We were planning on buying a house next summer, but since everything has happened, we have moved up our move-out date and will be buying a house before Christmas this year. Me and my husband will be paying for a nurse to come check on my grandmother because I am still concerned about her health and worried that when I'm not there, no one else will put in the effort to care for her properly. I really appreciate all the advice given and definitely will continue to press charges against my brother. Thank you all for the comments. Update for more context. I had a lot of questions about what I should do regarding this situation. Since I made that post, I have decided to press the charges against my brother. To sum up the situation, my brother, I'll call him Mike, came over to my grandma's house to visit on Sunday and he attacked me. I am still not any closer to finding out why he did what he did, but he got arrested afterwards because he left a giant bruise on my neck where he had hit me. As for this post, I just found out through my mother that Mike is going to be getting a lawyer and trying to go after me and try to get my children taken away from me. I have no idea what to do or even if he has a case. I told my husband what I just found out and he told me to start looking into a lawyer because we haven't done anything wrong, but I'm just so lost for words at the moment. The only thing I can think of him saying in a court is that I currently live at my grandmother's house and don't have a house of my own. This is not because of financial issues though, rather because I wanted to help out my grandmother who has Alzheimer's. Me and my husband are going to be buying a house of our own before the end of the year, and I have been looking into getting a nurse to come help with my grandmother since I am extremely concerned about her well-being. It's not that I don't trust my family, but more that my father works all the time. My mother has medical issues, and my uncle can't really help much since his health is declining. My aunt lives too far away to help either, which is another reason I chose to move in to help. I know getting a lawyer is probably the best thing that I can do, but I don't even know if my brother has any type of case here. He is trying to claim him hitting me was in self-defense even though I have evidence proving otherwise. I'm just at a loss on what to do here, especially since he is threatening my family and children. I am going to town tomorrow morning to finalize a protection order against him since I am still extremely concerned about my family's safety. Is there anything I can or should do here?